feel like it's been a while coming?
It has felt like a long time coming. Had to sit out last year, so really the whole spring and summer has just been having to teach me some patience. But it's finally here, just about 5 days away now, so it's pretty exciting around here.
Baker, do you have the butterflies yet? What do you think it's going to be like when you run out onto that field with all your teammates?
I wouldn't say I have the butterflies. I don't usually get nervous, but it's going to be pretty exciting to run out of that tunnel to realize that I'm playing. It'll be a dream come true, but I just got to realize I'm still playing football. Just got to relax and have fun.
You talked about being patient. How supportive was your family through this process, your parents? And I know your dad was a quarterback at Houston, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How supportive were they during this whole process?
It's unbelievable the amount that my parents have done for me. Just realizing that it can be stressful going through a competition and having to wait a whole summer to realize the decision didn't come till later. But they've been there by my side the whole time, and just being there for whenever I need them, whenever I need to call and talk to them, and then they're just there for me.
Do you get that competitive edge from them? I guess they're both athletes.
Oh yeah, it's competitive around our house with my brother too. So it's always been like that, but it's fun.
Baker, you mentioned last week about trying to relax. Now with the announcement being made, were you able to do that last week during practice?
Yeah, and that's something that I've noticed. I'm sure the receivers have a little bit too. Able to relax and start getting timing down with our receivers that we're going to have out there full time, and that's just something that you get when you name a starting quarterback. You get rhythm going, and that's something we worked on all summer. But we were having to split reps too, so it's finally coming into play and just getting every single rep with each other.
Baker, I don't know if you can answer this fully because you were with the scout team mostly last year, but it sounds like there's been a change and there will be less at the line of scrimmage getting calls from the sideline and less audibling, or can you address that? Is that the way it's going to be?
Really, whereas last year it was the offense is more of you want to get a certain play into a certain look. And if a defense was to bring a certain blitz or run a different coverage, you would want to check out of it. Whereas the offense we have now, we're able to run all of our plays against different things. So we don't have to have the perfect play called every time. We can roll with what Coach Riley calls from the sideline. And if we need to make an adjustment, I can make it out there pretty quick, and we'll make the adjustment up front on the line of scrimmage, and then we'll be fine.
What can fans expect to see out of D.D. Westbrook?
He's an explosive player. He's a great guy. He's great off the press. Tough to cover, really. I mean, you can ask any of our defensive backs. He's been a pretty fast guy adjustment here for them. But once he gets the ball in his hands, he's pretty fun to watch. Probably explosive plays is what I would say come out of him.
Mark Andrews, kind of a nice guy to have to need to go out there and get settled a little bit in your first game back in a year.
Oh yeah,
big target.
He's a big target. That's one thing I'd say about him. He's somebody that he can be covered, but he's really not. He's a big body. He can box out and catch the ball over corners, and then he's faster than linebackers. So it's kind of a mismatch problem wherever you guard him.
You were at Tech, you had Chase and Morrow. What kind of difference does a tight end like that make in this offense?
It's a huge difference because you can line them up in the slot. Like I said, they're faster than linebackers, but they're bigger than them too. So they can get in there and block for our run game too. It's just exciting to see what all they can do. They're versatile players with all the stuff they can do, run and pass and block too.
You're the starter at Tech. You were replaced, now you're the starter here. What did you tell Trevor Knight about that process of, when coaches choose one guy over the next?
I mean, it's not something we really discussed, but I mean, Coach Riley talked to us about it. It's at some point everybody's going to play in our office, so no matter what, we got to be supportive of each other. And really, it's not about who's playing or what's happening. It's about who's winning, and we're trying to win as a team too.
Baker, what excites you most about this offense heading into the season opener?
Explosive plays. We can throw a short route, and our receivers can pop it off for a long one, and especially with our running backs too. We can just have a normal run game called on short yardage situation, and they can make an explosive play. And it's fun to watch those guys once they get the ball in their hands.
Baker, have you got a sense of how Joe Mixon is approaching things, just his demeanor as you guys approach this opener?
He's excited, I'm sure as everybody else is, but he's a great team player, and that's something people have seen throughout practice. He celebrates with anybody after they score after a big play. It doesn't matter if it's Samaje, his competition, or anybody else. He's excited to be out there and playing with the guys again.
You said this is going to be a dream come true. Do you think you'll kind of stop and take a chance to maybe soak it all in, maybe whether it's in warm-ups or before you go out there, just to kind of take it in since your background with OU and everything?
I'm sure there'll be a moment when I run out of tunnel, look around, but other than that, just got to relax and play football. I mean, got to go get my job done.
We've heard a lot about the strides that Jeffrey Mead has made last spring, and then he's carried that over apparently into camp. What can you add to that?
He's a big guy. You look at him; he's tall and lanky, 6'5", but he's made a lot of strides, where strength-wise, just and that happens in off-season, spring and summer workouts. But he's got unbelievable hands. There was a video of him catching a kickoff with one hand. But he's a guy that's really come into his own. He's made some big plays for us, and he's kind of realized he has a bigger role now, and he has the opportunity to have a bigger role, so he's taking advantage of it.
Now that you've been named the starter, do you tend to work a little bit more closely with Lincoln Riley on just developing what you like, what you favor over this or that, or just same as always, QB meetings?
Yeah, I mean, really it's the same. I mean, preference-wise, we'll go into a week with a game plan, and if I don't like a play, he'll get rid of it. I mean, that's just kind of how it works when you have a starting quarterback anywhere. I mean, you call your plays around the guy and what he's comfortable with, but Coach Riley does a great job of calling great plays, so we don't have an issue with that.
You've dealt with Coach Riley in the spring and now through fall camp. Are you kind of interested to see what his demeanor and what he's going to be like to work with on game day?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what's coming. He's an energetic guy. He wants to score a touchdown every time we get the ball, so, I mean, I can't expect anything less on game day.
Baker, how similar was the offense that you ran at Tech compared to what you're running now?
It's virtually the same thing. We're just going to change it up a little bit based on personnel. I mean, we have running backs that nobody else has, so we just got to be smart about that and realize we don't have to throw the ball every down. Just change it up a little bit.
Baker, you talked about the tailgating that your family did, and those people will be there on Saturday while you're getting ready to play. I mean, there's going to be all these people watching you, but will you sort of, I don't know, be more mindful, or is it just kind of crazy to think that those people that, you sat and had hot dogs and hamburgers with all those years will be doing the same thing, but you'll be playing?
It is a little weird to think about. It's strange. I talked to my parents, and they're probably going to stop by that tailgate, but that's fun for them. I got to go out and do my job, like I said, but it's fun to think about that I'm on the field now instead of being out there.
What do you remember of those Saturdays spent over there?
Waking up early, excited, trying to get everybody else going, grab my football and making my dad throw it around. But getting out there on that patch of grass and playing with kids I didn't even know who they were, just getting a pickup game going, just getting excited like any kid does on college game day.
How influential was Coach Jones?
I know you guys real close family friends with him. How influential was he on your football career?
That's something that him and my dad joke about. They mess around with each other about who taught me how to throw back in our backyard. So I'm not going to say too much on that to start it up again. No, but they were both there for me. I mean, just playing around in the backyard. I mean, at that age, when I was that young, you don't teach that many football skills and techniques. You just kind of have fun with it.
Baker, have you had time to kind of reflect on the journey that you've gone through over the last few years? I mean, splitting time as a freshman on the freshman team like Travis to now starting at Oklahoma.
I haven't really thought about it too much. I mean, everything that's happened to me so far has put me where I am. So, I mean, I don't want to think about it too much, but I'm thankful for what's happened.
Is that something that, I mean, people say you play with a chip on your shoulder, and that's the attitude that you bring. Is that have anything to do with that, with how you started like Travis?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, yeah, it does. That's just how I've grown up and just played with a chip on my shoulder. People have doubted me. So, I mean, that's something that every player carries with them. They have an attitude when they step on the field. But that's just, it developed when I was in high school, and it's carried on since.
You do anything different now that the season started, just personally? You shut down social media or turn off the sports center at night or anything like that?
Try not to watch TV. I mean, I deleted stuff off my phone, really. Just don't pay attention to the outside noise too much. That's just something that you kind of have to do once season starts. You go into your shut-off mode and focus on what really matters.
Is it a little different here as you approach this first game than it was at Texas Tech in terms of the attention and such?
Not really. I mean, I'd say it was exciting then, just being it was my first college start. But just trying to get the season rolling. I mean, everybody around here knows what the expectations are, so that's really what's the focus. No different, though. The focus is to win.